Hey guys, welcome to another episode, video I guess. I don't know why I just call it episode, but let's be on the point. So today we're going to kind of learn how to navigate the theme customizer. And this is very important for me and for all web designers and developers before you make the website, how to utilize it. But also in case you want to learn how to manage your WordPress website, you got to know the basics of if you want to change something that's different than the visual builder that can be applied to everything in the future when you design. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And first off, make sure you're logged into your WordPress website, which I am here. And there's two ways to get to the theme customizer. My fastest way is, so you'll actually start here in the dashboard, so just give it a moment. I would probably go to visit site, and then theme customizer is right here. The other way to do it and to get to it is through going to looking at your WordPress dashboard. You go to appearance and then customize here. So there's two different ways. The fastest for me is clicking visit site event, but everybody's different. So to start off, the first couple sections, you'll see they're a different color. This is due to a plugin I have. So basically I get to customize a little bit more than the typical designer. So I'm not going to even cover that because that's a plugin in itself. And that doesn't come with the standard Divi theme customizer. So it's taking a while to load. Give it a second. Alright guys, sorry about the delay. It took forever to load and I had to move locations if you can see my background. But to get back to it, so the first one is general settings, and in here, first thing is site identity. I think it's always important to make your site icon, and what that is, in case you don't know, is you see all my tabs here. Again, I'm going to stress it. I'm the guy with a lot of tabs. If it pisses you off, so be it. It's how I roll. It's if you see this F, if you don't have a site icon, especially in WordPress, it's going to look like the earth map right here. I always prefer having something built, whether it is your logo. If your logo is horizontal, I make two logos. Figure out something to play around here, therefore it stands out and kind of has its own unique branding in a way. Then the site title, I just put the name of your business. And your tagline, I always recommend to all my clients, if they don't have a tagline before I work with them, I make sure that we create a tagline because I think it's important to portray your brand's message in a simple manner as much as you can. And then next being forward is layout settings. Now, I personally never touch the website content with. You can. The standard, it says on average, is between 940 to 1100 pixels in terms of what you should have it around. I keep it at 1080. I don't have a problem with it. Play around with it if you'd like. Never touch it. Then the enable box layout button right here. This is here if you you can change your site into a box layout which frames the content of your site and exposes a background that can be customized. I never touch it, but that's up to you if you really want to go with it. Then with website gutter width, to kind of understand it is, if you're looking at my site, I don't know if I have an example coming up here. So yes, we do here. The spacing between these two. So the shorter the width, the closer they'll be together, and the spacing between two sections is less. And to kind of understand how 3 works, so 1 represents 0 margin between columns. So if you'll have 2 sections, they'll be right on the border of each other. 2 represents a 3% margin. And when I say 3%, it's, so let's say your standard layout is 1080. You do 1080 times 0.03. And whatever that is the number by pixels. So it'll be, let's say, those 50 pixels between the spaces, and keep going forward. By default, the section padding, so going next forward, I never touch the custom sidebar with. The section height and the row height, by default, the section padding is 50 pixels on top and bottom, and the row is 30 pixels on the top and bottom. You can play around. This is to see the spacing you want on standard between, so section height would be between here, and then row height would be, so an entire section is, you can't really see, but you have, think of a website as a huge box, and with a lot of boxes in between. There's huge boxes, and within those huge boxes there are small boxes. The huge box, the big one, is a section. Small boxes are the rows. And then in the rows is also widgets. I'm blanking on the word, but this is a widget. but this whole square here is a row, and then this headline, the text, and this section here, this row, is a section. I don't know if I made that really complicated, but I hope you understand. Then primary and secondary color, I never really touch. You can if you'd like. Doesn't really affect anything, at least from what I've seen so far. And going back, we have then typography. This is very important before you design your website. And this is where you're going to change the way you want your body text size to be, your header text size, and this is going to appear for every time you add a header, every time you add a text. Of course, you can always change it in the visual builder, but in terms of not having to change it every single time and spending so much more time than you have to, go to typography first, figure out what you want as your sizing and all of that. Little design tip that I found is that for body text size, never make it under 14 pixels. It's very small, and for anyone that gets past 40 or older, they'll thank you a lot, because you don't want a lot of people to not be able to read your content, which would be the worst thing ever. Imagine making a beautiful website and people can't read it because it's too small of words. And just going down, this is where you would change the color and everything like that, and you can play around. That's pretty self-explanatory in terms of how to figure this one out. And then background, I necessarily never touch, but you can. I haven't really found it to do anything for me, but there's this website blog article that's going to help you a lot, but I'm going to link it in the description. This is if you change the theme accent color, the things will update. Just to give you an idea, it's pretty much a lot, but I don't really touch it because I like to change them all separately because I don't want the same color for all of them. But again, you can do whatever you like. And then going back, so then we have header and navigation. This is where you're going to basically be capable of editing anything related to your header and your footer. Header format, this is where you'd play. I don't touch anything here, but if you want to enable vertical navigation, I would just want to touch anything. I would keep these all as standard, not even worth. And primary menu, this is going to be your first menu, and I always make it full width. When you make it, I don't really press the button because I don't make it in the theme customizer. My recommendation is you get so many more options when you use the visual builder with Divi to make a header as well as the footer. But I will show you in case you want to just go down this path or want to look at how to do it this way. Just to give you an idea, you can change the height, which would be how big the section of the menu would be. The height of the logo, do you want to make it full width, which I always recommend? Do you want to not have a logo, hide the logo image? Text size of your tabs, letter spacing, all this can be played around here. You can watch a different tutorial if you'd like on that because I don't really touch it. Oh, hey, Pussy. Hey, Pussy. Sorry, we got a little doggy delay. Little friend of mine. Going back, secondary menu bar. Again, I'm not going to necessarily touch on this a lot because I don't do it here. And someone who knows better, you can watch them. But the only things here that I would change is fixed navigation settings. Nah, I wouldn't touch anything. The only thing is if you want to add, for example, social icons in your header or a search icon, you could do it here, or as well as phone number, email. I do it all when I make the header, but that's important to know if you want to go down this direction. Then pushing forward, we have the buttons. This is very important for me. It's important to do before you create any buttons. Therefore, it makes it that much easier. You don't have to customize it every time. And this is where you can change the text size, the color, the background color, the border width, the border color, the radius, and that's basically, do you want it to be a circle? Do you want it to be a straight rectangle? Play around with that. The font and icon, what kind of icon, what color of the icon? Do you want to show the icon only on hover? And then the button hover is basically when you put your keypad on a button. And to give you an example, what do you want the button to do? Do you want it to change colors? For example, this one doesn't change colors, but my first one does. Alright, sorry, another delay. Blog, this is where I don't touch anything, but if you want to, it'd be here, how you want to make the size of your text. And this is basically for the post, the standard of when you make a blog, what do you want it to be? I don't really touch this because I do it all on the blog itself, but to accessible here. Then pushing forward the mobile styles, and this is very important because it allows you to change the font. Like I said, for the typography, that only applies for the header, or I'm sorry, for computer screen. Changing it for what you want on the phone, therefore you don't have to change it every time. Very helpful. Then mobile menu, what color text. This is very important. Just to give you an idea. And then pushing forward color schemes, my recommendation is just do not touch it. Just do not touch it. Then going forward, menus. This is where you can, I don't really do it in the theme customizer, but you can also set your main menu here and where your menus go. Widgets, I personally never touch. See this? Not even accessible for me. Homepage setting, this is an important one. This is just making sure what do you want your homepage to be. When people first go to your website, they click in your URL. What do you want it to appear? Do you want it to be, your blog? Do you want it to be your landing page? Do you want it to be just everything to know about your business? You get to choose that. And then going forward, additional CSS is where you basically can add code to the website. For example, what I added here is when you're on a phone or a tablet, what the standard WordPress website, what you can do is you can see it turns white if you kind of move your screen. And then now with this code, it's locked. Therefore, it's standard screen the whole time, and it's just not it's more user-friendly. Hard to explain, but if you just search up what the code is, it'll give you a better explanation. So that being said, I hope you understand this much better. I apologize. This took a little longer and had a few delays in the middle of it, but now you know everything to know about how to manage the Divi theme customizer. So take care, guys. Enjoy. Have a great day.